Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be speaking about how to buy your first residential property and the steps you need to take to do it. So if you are someone that's looking to buy your first residential, but you're unclear on location, you're unclear on your budget, you don't know the steps you need to be taking, then this video is for you. And make sure to watch it through the end so you've got a clear roadmap on the steps you need to be taking. So the first step when you're looking to buy your first residential property is actually understanding your affordability. So what you want to be doing is, number one, understanding what your salary is. So this includes your base salary, any commission or bonuses that you may be getting, and then actually timesing this by about 4.5. So this is a good indicator of the mortgage that you'll be able to get from lenders. Now there are lenders that will give you 5 times your mortgage, and actually even more recently there are lenders that will actually give you 6 times your mortgage as well, but these do come with higher interest rates, so something you want to be aware of. But a good rule of thumb is 4.5 times to 5 at a slight stretch of your salary. That's the mortgage that you'll be able to get. So let's give an example. So if you earn £40,000 for example over a year, then if you times that by 4.5, that's 180,000. If you times it by 5, that's 200,000 pounds. So that's the mortgage that you'll qualify for. If you're buying with another individual, if you're buying with a partner, then you combine your salaries together and then times it by 4.5, times it by 5, like I mentioned with some lenders, and that will then enable you to understand the mortgage that you'll be getting. From that, you then also want to understand what deposit you want to put forward towards your property purchase as well. So this can range anywhere from 5% upwards. There are lenders that will give you a 100% mortgage, but again, this comes with very specific criteria and the interest rates are much higher as well. So the bigger your deposit, the lower your interest rates are going to be, and ultimately the lower your monthly payment is going to be as well. So if you put a 10% deposit down on a property purchase, so for example, on a £300,000 house, you put £30,000 down, then your interest rate is going to be lower than if you put a 5% deposit down on that same property. Same also if you put a 15% deposit down on that property. So on a £300,000 property, if you put a £45,000 deposit down, then that interest rate is going to be lower than your 10% deposit. And this is because you're putting a bigger stake into the property. So lenders look at you as a lower risk. So even that property went down in value slightly and you want to sell it, then they know they'll still likely recoup their money back. So the bigger your deposit, the lower the interest rate tends to be from the lender. In addition to this, you also want to understand what your credit history, what your credit report is as well. So lenders will look at you and actually assess if you're someone they want to be lending to based on how you've actually handled credit previously. So this could be how you handle your mobile contract payments, how you actually pay off your credit card, and all these different variables and factors. If you have CCJs on your account, if you've defaulted as well, then lenders won't look too favorably on it. So it's always best to ensure that you're getting your credit to a good standard, so lenders are looking at you and actually believing that you'll be someone that they can rely on when it comes to paying back the mortgage. Now, when you've understood what your budget is and you've got a good credit report, this is where you want to work with a good mortgage broker. So a mortgage broker that understands the residential market and will be able to tailor and get you the best lending for your situation as well. Now, it's working with a mortgage broker that you'll be able to get a decision in principle. And essentially what a decision in principle is a pre-approval mortgage offer from a lender. So they've done their initial checks on you and they're happy, provided you can actually prove these things, they would lend to you. Having this and then making offers makes you stand out. Estate agents and sellers will view you as a more serious candidate. So it's always good to actually get a decision in principle and work with your mortgage broker on this. Whilst doing this, you want to make sure you've got your documents in order as well. And these documents are going to be needed when you actually have an offer on a property accepted and you actually want to get a mortgage offer as well from the lender. And it'll be documents that solicitors will want to look at as well. So the documents I'd recommend you get in order are your pay slips. So pay slips from the last 3 months. You want to have ID in place. So this could be your passport, driver license, bank statements as well. So lenders are going to want to see how you actually spend your money as well. And also your credit report. So having these documents ahead of time will enable you to move quicker when actually getting your mortgage offer and moving through the buying process as well. Now, whilst you're doing this, it's also in your best interest to actually now you understand your budget, to actually look at the areas that you'd be happy living in. So what is it that you want from the property that you want to live in? Do you want to be near good schools? So maybe you either have young children or you want to have children in the future. Is transport links also important as well? Are you going to be close to shops? These are all things that you're going to want to think about and understand how important they are to you. Also, if you want to ever rent out that property in the future, for example, having good transport links, shops nearby is going to make your property a more attractive proposition to tenants. So these are consideration you want to be making. Also, if you want to sell your property, if it's near stations that enable you to get into cities close by, places of employment, is going to mean that it's likely going to be easier to sell. Now you want to move into the third stage, and that's now where you're viewing properties and actually speaking to estate agents and asking them good questions as well. So asking estate agents why the seller is selling. Is there anything wrong with the property? Are there any structural issues? Are there any damp issues, mold issues, anything wrong with the roof? I'd also recommend assessing properties nearby and checking what they've sold for. This will give you a good idea of what that property is actually worth, so you're not paying over the market value for that property. And then make sure you understand exactly what the property is, where it's located, what the area is like, and you're happy with it. Then you can actually start making offers on these properties using your decision in principle. And then lastly, we move to stage 4. Now this is where you've got an offer accepted and then you want to move to completion. So when an offer is actually accepted, there's a few things that you want to be doing. You want to work with your mortgage broker on getting the right lender for your circumstance. And then that lender will then go out and actually value that property to ensure that they're happy with the value of the property and the offer that you've actually put on it as well. And through doing that, you'll then be able to get a mortgage offer. In addition to this, you want to be working with a solicitor as well. So a solicitor will do a lot of the conveyancing work and making sure all the legalities are in place. So with solicitors, you want to ensure that you're working with a solicitor that you know someone has used and has had a good experience with. Not all solicitors are created equal. Some are more efficient, more accurate, and less prone to making mistakes, whereas some can take ages to respond to inquiries, ages to respond to your emails and questions, and that can delay the process as well, making it more likely for deals to fall through. So your solicitor is so important, and I would actually recommend even paying a little bit more for a good solicitor than actually using a solicitor just because they're cheap. I'd also recommend, especially if this is your first residential property, getting a good comprehensive survey done. This will check for issues with the property. The more detailed the survey is, the more comprehensive the report will be, and it will highlight any issues with the property. And this is a worthwhile investment, because if you can check for issues and you understand all the issues that come with it, then this could save you thousands down the line. And if there was anything that came up in the report that you wasn't aware of, then you can actually use this as a means to renegotiate the offer that you put in at the beginning. And then through that, working with the estate agent that's selling the property, your mortgage broker and your solicitor, and having that good team, you should then be able to work through into exchange and completion when now you've got the keys. I'd also recommend having some money aside for your furniture, your appliances, and just if anything does come up, that you've got some funds there to actually sort any issues. So a safety net in this instance is definitely recommended. So hopefully this video helped you understand how you can actually buy a residential property and different stages you need to move through to acquire one. Now, if you do want a little bit more information on how to buy your first residential property, I have actually put together a how to buy your first residential property starter guide. It details how to actually look for your first residential property, how to actually assess for the different costs, what you should be looking for, the key mistakes you want to be avoiding, and it details everything step by step. So feel free to download this. It'll be in my pinned comment and in my description as well. So if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, and if you found value from this video or any other video on this channel, then do subscribe as well. And until next time, happy investing.